Hello, world. Welcome back to Golf Subpar. Colt Knost and Drew Stoltz. Before we get going, just once again a reminder, you need to go check out our gear from our guys over at Linksoul. Look at this hoodie, by the way. Make par, not war.
That's good advice,
Love
by
that.
the way. Good advice. If you saw any of our socials over the weekend, you saw that the sale is still going on, and it is Cyber Week. This is good through November 30th. So if you're listening to this on Tuesday, the sale is still good. You're getting 50% off all of Linksoul. That is, roughly, right? More or less half. 50% off at Linksoul with the code Subpar. I saw a lot of people chiming in, getting some DMs, scooping up a lot of gear. If you're ever going to buy any golf gear, this is about your best opportunity to do it right here. I got a grizz of stuff ready for the winter times.
Linksoul Golf Apparel is the latest creation from co-founders Jim Ashworth and Jeff Cunningham. Rooted in golf, but designed to work for you anywhere, on the course, off the course, whatever you want. It's going to look great.
If you just want to be fly, it's for you. And this is the big news, Colt. We've been teasing this for a while now. We have details on the LS two-man event, and here they are, okay? We are doing a giveaway. Listeners, go to linksoul.com/subpar. You can enter your name and email for a chance to win an entry for one team, which is two players for the LS two-man. This event is April 30th through May 2nd at Stream Song.
What a
down
place.
in Florida. It is a sick spot. Haven't been, but everyone that I've talked to who's gone down there raves about this place. And here's what you get if you win. You get a $500 travel stipend per person, 3 nights of hotel accommodations at Stream Song, 2 days of the LS two-man tournament golf, practice round included on Saturday, a little welcome reception, 18-hole putting contest at the Gauntlet. Good time to get amongst it. Have a couple coldies before the event. Championship dinner including open bar.
What's better than an open bar?
Important. Pretty much pays for the trip itself. And a $300 Linksoul gift card. These events are sweet. They do a number of these throughout the country. This is the first one, I believe, of next year at Stream Song, April 30th through May 2nd. Two-man team. You go down there, you fire at Stream Song, open bar, whatever.
Linksoul.com/subpar. And then once again, through November 30th, 50% off your order. Go to linksoul.com, pick it all up, type in code subpar. 50% off or half, whichever way you want to go.
They do these events right, by the way. You will not be disappointed with this event. Go sign up for your chance to win all that action.
All right, well, let's get it going here, Sleaze. First time in a long time. We've had no PGA Tour golf, but we did have some football.
A little bit of football, bud.
Just a little bit. It was Thanksgiving. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
By the way.
Happy day of thanks to you as well.
Okay, perfect. Cowboys win. TCU wins. Broncos suck. You're over them.
Yeah, they're dead to me.
But, man, I mean, how much football could you watch this past weekend?
Whatever the maximum
couch?
is, I watched it. My eyes are bleeding from football. I actually had to turn off the Sunday night game this past week because I bet the under and the over hit in the first half. And I said, you know what? That's probably enough gambling, enough football. I think I got to tap out. You're hard pressed to find a better couch weekend of the year. March Madness is good. Masters is good. There's some good ones, but this is right in the mix. And thank God for my boys coming through for me. The Froggies.
Yeah, they did. Frogs still undefeated. Looking good for that playoff spot. I mean, they got to really mess it up for this thing not to happen.
Don't say anything. If there's any wiggle room for the committee,
They're
to
basically
fuck
a
us,
lock. No big deal.
Yeah, don't do that. Do not do that. If there's any way, if we won't win by 21, they'll be like, should have won by 22. Bump Ohio State. So, anyways, I'm getting this weekend is setting up for the most nervous I've been in a long time.
Against K-State.
Yeah, dude, conference championship. We should be in even if we lose. There's a huge argument to be made for that. But if we don't, trust me, the committee is looking for any reason to keep us out of there. So another big weekend coming up with college football. Not as many games, maybe not the volume, but high quality. High quality.
There's some very good games. A couple that stick out to mind. USC, Utah, a little rematch.
That could be the pick of the
Pac-12
week, possibly. Tease.
Ooh, you're going with that? Maybe.
Perhaps. We'll get there.
All right, but like I said, golf returns this week. We got the Hero World Challenge, which we'll get to here in a little bit. We also got a little early Christmas present for everyone. Our guest this week.
He's back.
He is great. We'll get to it. But first, what do Matthew Fitz, Cameron Smith, and Scotty Scheffler have in common with Dewar's 4-time Master Blender of the Year, Stephanie McLeod? They're all at the top of their game. In Stephanie's case, that means creating the new Dewar's 12-year-old whiskey. Double-aged in first fill bourbon cask, the new Dewar's 12 is smoother and richer with a profile full of fruit, vanilla, floral notes, and spice. It's earned a 94-point rating from Whiskey Cast, a 93-point rating from Whiskey Advocate, and 4 stars from Paul Pocket of the Spirit Journal. It's a proof of what you can do when you're a true champion of your craft. Try it, enjoy it, and please drink responsibly as always.
Well done. Always responsible.
And our guest this week, he can pound some Dewars.
Responsibly.
Once again, keep teasing it. We'll get to it. But it's now time for the Dewars Cheers moment of the week. And Sleaze, I know you have this same feeling when you're watching TCU. I'm a diehard Dallas Cowboy fan. I like to be alone, or at least with a group of people that enjoy the Cowboys as much as I do.
That share the same passion.
Yes, I want the sound up. I want to be able to hear it. I don't want anybody interrupting me. And it was Thanksgiving. I still had a lot of people left over from the wedding in town, so we went over to their place. They were gracious enough to host us. It was beautiful. Food was fantastic, all this. Meanwhile, it's during the first half of the Cowboys game, which I'm watching with everyone. Everyone wants to talk about the wedding and all this, and I'm like, listen, I'm trying to watch this goddamn football game, okay? It's kind of a big game.
Shut your
Go
face.
against the Giants. I hate the Giants almost as much as I hate the Eagles. I need them to go. And they absolutely looked like shit in the first half.
I was there.
So I said, friends, family, I love you all. It's time for me to go home.
But not that much.
I kindly removed myself and went and watched the second half at home and cheered them on to another victory. 8-3.
Boys
The
look
boys
good,
are
bud.
good. The boys are good.
But this is setting you up for that very slippery slope of like, you care enough, you think this could be the year it's going to happen. The motion is there. Anything but a ship
oh, it'd be terrible.
is crushing.
It would.
I'm already
I was
out.
ready.
I tapped out week 6, basically. I was like, we suck. It's over. Move on.
We got a very easy schedule, which I hope we're not getting too confident. We got Indy,
Yeah.
Jacksonville, and Houston
You have a great schedule
right
coming up.
before
I mean,
the
that
big
should
showdown
be
with
layups,
the Eagles on Christmas Eve.
which will be a good one.
So
But
either my
you're-
Christmas is going to be great or it's going to suck.
You're right in that spot right now where like I'm ready to be hurt. You know,
No, I'm ready. It's time.
you're ready to be hurt.
No, it's been 26 years, buddy. I'm ready for this thing to
That's
turn
true.
around.
You were just a wee pup the last time they hoisted that thing.
I was actually 10. It was that year would have been my 11th.
Were you 10?
birthday.
You remember
10 years
it?
old. I do remember it. It was actually out here, Arizona.
Is that where they
Pittsburgh.
got the last one?
I believe so, against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
You know where it is this year,
Neil
bud?
O'Donnell was the MVP because he kept throwing it to Larry Brown.
You know where it is this year?
Right here.
Yeah, buddy boy. Speaking of that, let me go to mine real quick. Dewar's moment of the week. Mine is, I said last week on the pod, can I just get 1 week of frogs not making me sweat this thing out, rip my hair out? Last week was at your wedding. A fucking woodland was wearing me out about the frogs. It was the worst environment imaginable to be watching my boys, and they pulled it out this week. Obviously, some big listeners of the program. They did it. They put this thing to bed quickly. And for the first time, I think I was like in the room with my family, like, yeah, I can talk now. You guys want to have a conversation? We can do it because this thing's on ice early. And I thank them for that. And in the same breath, if things, no jinx here, shake out the way they are currently, if everyone holds tight, we could get a 2-3 Michigan versus TCU in
Glendale,
Glendale,
Phoenix,
Arizona,
whatever you wanna
bud,
say.
which I will be in the house going ape shit. So knock on wood, no jinxie poos. A lot of football left to be played. Stay the course, move the chains.
Let's say this happens.
You know,
Are you
all
gonna
the
be down there, like,
cliches.
hours before tailgating?
Oh, I'm hammering
You're not
the
even gonna
whole
remember the damn
environment. Whole environment. I haven't seen them live in person in a while. I used to go every year back to Fort Worth for OU, Texas.
Let me know if you want me
whoever.
to call Coach Dykes and get you down on the field or anything.
Me and
beforehand.
Coach D, you're listening right now. Big golfer, by the way. Holler at your boy. Get you taken care of. If you want to swing the sticks around maybe before the game, loosen up
Yeah,
a
you
little
got nothing
bit.
else to do.
Gotcha. You know what I
You got
mean?
nothing
Talk
else
a
to do
little,
before you
talk
get
a little
pounded by
shop.
Michigan.
X's and O's with the sleeves. I got you.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for the Dewar's Cheers moment of the week. It is now on to our very special guest. Y'all asked for him. We delivered. The beautiful man, Mike Commodore, is back in the building. Here he is on Golf Subpar.
Dun, 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 dun. Back by popular demand. One of the greatest performances, I would say, of all time here on Golf Subpar. Back with us, a champion of champions, Mike Commodore. Greetings, buddy.
Champ, it's good to see you.
Good to see you, champ.
Good to see you. And
Triple
it's,
champ.
it's nice. Thank you.
Yes.
It's nice to be back. It's nice to be wanted, especially, anywhere to begin with.
True.
But in the golf industry, it's shocking. But thanks a lot for having me.
I mean, we've had a lot of pretty big-name golfer guests in the world, and I believe it's not even close. You have been requested to come back more
Yeah.
than anyone. Just
Is
add
that
that,
the encore?
add that to the list of accomplishments
Just a
of
list
Mike
of
Commodore.
accomplishments. What's the what would be the average IQ of the people that listen to you?
Well,
or is it
On
high?
our show in general,
Is
We
it
don't
really
go that
high or
deep into
really
it.
low?
We don't go that deep into
they're
it.
very smart people.
It's nice to be back.
All
very
three of
smart
the
people.
women that watch our show did request you as well.
Oh, good.
I'll tell you what, my mom, who
Wisconsin?
doesn't know shit about hockey, couldn't tell you one thing. Watches some golf, though. You're your all-time number one, bud. How
Really?
about that? Yeah, Susie.
Wow.
but
That's
I
a
do
big
believe
feather.
Susie.
Big feather
That
from
might have been
Susie.
Susie. wasn't
Yo,
it?
trust me.
I think I was going to drive
Trust
my
me.
chariot to pick up Susie with that Uber story.
Yeah, she's probably hitting you up. Yeah, late night.
Have you been back to Uber at all?
No,
Besides taking them, obviously. But
taking them everywhere. Can't touch my keys and end up in a tent if they still do that around here. No, I have been kind of, honestly, I've been thinking about it a little bit.
Oh,
Just
bit.
Getting back in the game, the
Maybe.
rates are high as shit right now.
I know.
could
Maybe
probably
you can
print a
pay
guy
for,
like you.
pay for my gas and tires. But I've been thinking about maybe dabbling a little bit. Maybe back here in Phoenix when I'm down. But, actually, no, let me take that back. Right now, when I'm down in Phoenix, I'm only here for like a week or maybe 2 weeks. I'm in no condition to drive other than maybe 6 hours out of a 2-week period. Calgary, though, I mean, maybe. Well, the thing is, I can't be picking people up in a fucking pickup truck.
But all right,
And you're a celeb. What are they going to do? You could boost those.
I could do whatever I wanted.
Uber
up
celebrity, and you pay 10x to take the same ride, but you get a guy like you that everyone knows. That's actually a good idea.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
Turn into like the Uber cash cab or something too, where they got lights and shit in there.
Yeah, and it's a show. You get picked
Then
up
I'm
by
gonna have to get
Timberlake
really
in
paid.
Nashville.
Yeah, that's gonna
Wow.
happen.
You know, he could.
No offense to you, Mike.
probably
Justin
needs some
Timberlake,
cash.
Mike Commodore, slightly different. But you
great
said you're only gonna be
amount of
spending a week or two at a time down here in Scottsdale. It's November right now. It was 73 degrees. What the hell do you want to be doing in Calgary right now? What's the weather there right now?
Well, guys, look, I mean, this has nothing to do with the weather.
Okay, perfect.
I would
I'm
say,
just
you
curious
know what,
how cold it
in
is.
no, it's a good question. The temperature right now is probably in Fahrenheit. I always struggle with the conversion a little bit. Somewhere around probably 0.
Oh, okay.
0, probably minus 15 or 16 Celsius. It could get way colder. But, I mean, weather-wise, it's obviously a no-brainer. I mean, I have some commitments up in Calgary right now that I'm really, really enjoying.
Okay.
Really,
You want to elaborate on that?
well, I think we'll move
a
past
smidge?
that.
I'm very curious right now.
She knows exactly
think
what
I
I'm
know,
talking
and
about,
I think
and
I-
she's a big fan of Subpar. I can't wait to get back to Calgary.
That's incredible.
Oh, she
Tell us
loves
about,
you.
because I know you take more golf trips than any man on
Sure.
the planet. Tell us about some of the golf. I mean, I don't know how long it's been since we've had you on, but you've had a number of them.
Yeah.
Tell us some of the highlights from your golf trips as of late.
Highlights, you know what? Couple of trips. Golf's been trash, as usual. It was the same last time I was in here. Trash. I'm trying to turn. Still can't turn with a shit.
Are you pausing? Is the Hideki still there? Or is it gone?
I think it's
Day to day?
ish, day to day though.
Okay.
Still,
I played
that's
behind
still
you
day-to-day.
yesterday, and there was a couple.
A couple pauses? The first time I saw it, I
Not
was
the whole
like,
time. Well,
No, no.
you wouldn't be watching the whole time, but I think
I don't know. As slow as Joe Scovern plays, I've got to watch quite a bit.
God, he thinks he's fast too. It's a joke. Like, does he not understand when it's your turn to hit and then you turn around and tell somebody a fucking story? That, like, you're on the clock. Like, hey, get this. This just took you 2 minutes to put the ball in the air. You're telling some bullshit story. But, anyways, pause can come back. I felt it a little bit. Came in, played on your Friday deal.
Yep.
Fun. Actually, hadn't touched a golf club in a while, which is probably why I played okay. Kept 78. Pretty solid for me. I was just one, like, total X of a hole. Other than that, I was in the mix. And then it's just, I played 2 times since, and it's just been trash. Total trash. But highlights of some golf trips. I did a huge trip to Europe, actually, this summer with a Rock
Yes.
member.
I remember that.
Yeah. Way too much golf. Way too much. He's a fan of the show, too. I mean, he's,
What when you
burying
say way
everyone.
too much, were you guys 36 a day? What were you?
oh, God. And
Walking,
I didn't even...
obviously.
Walking.
Yeah.
We played. I couldn't even take part, which was totally fine, other than one round that was at Muirfield. I really want to check that one off. By the time I joined
had
the
to
trip.
skip
You had a
Muirfield?
tap on Muirfield?
Oh,
Well, I had to because I kind of signed up late. Guys drop. It was a 24-man trip to Northern Ireland and Scotland. So this is set up a year in advance. So guys are going to drop off, right? Whatever. So like if you would have done the entire thing, it would have been like 16, 17 days, 25, 26 rounds.
17 days?
Yeah.
Everyone just retired.
imagine how many
With
Guinness
no
you
families.
would have had in 17 days.
How many what?
Guinness.
Oh, God.
God.
Oh, God.
Was that the trip? There was some sort of club. I remember seeing you on Twitter. There was some debacle on. It was Europe, right? Someone's clubs or your clubs.
Yeah, yeah.
There was some
So
sort of shit show that went on.
Yeah,
right.
it
You
was-
were not happy about it on Twitter.
was not happy. And I mean, I understand, it's a big group of guys. And so this trip was massive. We did I was there for 12 days and I played 17 or 18 rounds. So we were like Royal Portrush was great. We played Ardglass. That was one of the ones I hadn't played. We did 3 or 4 rounds at Royal County Down. That was great. And then we went, we got on the ferry. I'll tell you, now that we're all kind of retiring and shit, it used to be a chopper. Now it's a ferry. It's bullshit. But so we go up to Scotland. The only days we played 18 holes would be if we had to travel. So we get to Scotland, we go to Turnberry. We play 5 rounds at Turnberry. Beautiful piece of property, great golf course. But that was the spot. This poor guy on our trip, Rowie from Maui, his name is, very successful guy from Michigan. I mean, there was 2 things where, we're paying to be at this place. Man, I'm showing up. I'm paying out of my ass. I'm shooting 95s left and right. I'm trying to get my shit together. So first thing in the morning, we're first off. There's 24 of us going off, and then it's a rush to lunch, and then it's a rush back out. We're playing another 18. We're just grinding this shit out. And so my game is trash. I go down. I get up early. The wind is howling. They give you a little shitty bag of range balls, which is fine. I don't care if the balls are shit. But, there's 20 balls in the bag. I'm sitting there. I'm clunking around for 8-10 minutes. I'm like, man, I got to hit some more. This is not any better. I haven't found the club face even close. So I go into the pro shop right there, right at the training center at Turnberry. I'm like, hey, man, I need another bag of balls here. He's like, oh, that'll be £5. And look, it's £5. I understand that. I'm paying, I don't know how many goddamn pounds to stay at this place. We're playing 5 rounds. I mean,
you give me a couple of floaters on the house.
Now we're nickel and diming here.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's put me off on the wrong foot to start my day. I'm like, you serious? And I know it's not that guy's fault, so I didn't light him up. But I'm like, hey, I just want you to know this is a joke. I'm like, here's your £5. I've been put it on my room. I didn't even look at my bill when I left. But anyways, go play. We're done playing. We're leaving first thing in the morning, and we are taking a bus to Royal Dornoch, which was awesome. Great spot. And so the bus is outside. So this guy comes. He's got his bag, he's towing it, ready to go. And the bus is right there, right in the kind of little circle there. And, those guys in the kilts, one of the guys comes up. He's like, hey, hey, I got this. Don't worry about it. Go enjoy breakfast. He's like, you sure? He's like, yeah, I got it. No problem. He's like, oh, okay. So goes and gets breakfast, comes back out. By the time everybody's on the bus, the sides, everything's locked up. We got 24 guys. It's not like they're just going to be sitting there. You're going to have to root through things. He's like, well, they got to be on the bus. Get on the bus. It was, I can't remember how many hours that was. 5 or 6 hour bus trip.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's for sure 5.
This is a diehard golf trip. That's a long ass time, and that's some tough.
Diehard.
You got to love the game.
Oh, I mean, I love the game, and I was.
Yeah, you're a purist.
I mean, those clubs almost stayed there when I flew out. But we get up there, so all the bags come flying out. We're rushing to the tee to play 18 holes in the afternoon. No clubs. Clubs are gone. So he's panicking. He's like, he actually took it. Unbelievable. So he's like, I got no clubs. He's kind of a quiet guy. He's like, where are my clubs? I got no clubs. I'm like, you serious, Maui? And he's like, I got no clubs. So I call. The guy never loaded him on the bus, just sitting at Turnberry. So as a first-class resort like that, you would think, hey, you know what? I understand mistakes happen. One of these bellboys should have been like, hey, look, you got the day off. Take these clubs, drive them 5 hours. This is going to be a 10-hour trip for you, back and forth. Get these clubs to this guy. They refuse to do it, won't send anybody up, and they just ship them to Edinburgh. And they ended up getting there like 6 days later or 5 days later, whatever it was. So this poor guy ended up having to play with rentals. For
paying $8 million around, fly across the world, all the shit, and you got to play with the rentals.
Joke. I got to be honest.
That's a brutal. You would have handled that well, I feel like. If that was your clubs after the range ball scenario.
Oh, God.
Oh, could you imagine?
I guess in one way, maybe it would have helped me. Play with little shorter clubs and no expectations.
Smooth it down, a little regular flex.
Oh, God.
So when this happens, you lit him up on Twitter pretty good?
Lit him up on Twitter.
I remember that.
You
were not pleased with
was
the,
there a
with the
response?
service.
No response.
Oh, no.
No response. Zero. Like none.
I feel like You would play good. I feel like Europe's where your game suit. You used to hit that really low ball flight. You brought it up a few stories.
Now I hit
then,
it
but
way
I feel like
too high.
you would thrive in the links.
I hit everything straight up in
Yeah,
the air.
you're Americanized now. You
Now,
can't keep it down.
Oh, God.
Neeler
I
told me,
can't.
he said he played with you the other day and said he's never seen anybody hit it so high.
I know.
Dude, when
It's
we
another
first
You
one
got
of
all
those
the
things.
shots. You just don't know when they're coming out.
Well, yeah,
When we
it's-
first
it's
started
crazy
playing-
when you flip it. You're not sure where it's going to go. And left, high, low, shanked.
You got all of them. You used to hit that head high, just screamer that would get out there.
I
When
miss
you
that.
get some firm fairways, you could get it out there. Nice.
I used to be like a pretty, not solid. It was definitely not solid. But my range then was like, I mean, it sounds so stupid now, but, 0.5 if I made some putts, which I usually do because I can roll it. To like maybe a 3 or 4, if
I've
things
seen
are
you
blowing
go-
up, if I
I've
start
been with
hitting
you.
them, gone.
Shoot some low
Yeah.
digis.
Now it gets up in the air. I can't knock it down to save my life. And then when things go wrong, I used to just think like, before I knew anything about the golf swing, we just get up and hit the thing. So it was all arms, and it's like and then things would be going, I just hit it better. No, I just swing harder. I have no clue what I'm doing. Well, now I've taken some lessons.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, you should do this and rotate more and not pause. But now it's like, I need to do this now. Now I'm thinking, it's a plethora of fucking
So
problems.
you're turning into a tour player kind of, though. You're blaming the coach.
Which is smart because you were real good before.
Multiple coaches.
That's where the pause came from. You think about all the shit.
Can't
You're like,
chip.
I got too much shit. I got to stop here and think about all of it, and then you go down.
that's
You
trouble.
didn't used to do that.
Used to be able to chip the lights out of it for a golfer like myself. Went to Bandon Dunes. We're talking about golf trips. I went and spent with the same guy, Ken Holland, who loves Subpar. Fuck you, Ken. went to Bandon
Kenny,
Dunes.
what up, Kenny?
Played 15 rounds in 9 days.
You take monstrous
Dude,
trips.
why do you
dude.
play so much
Yeah, dude.
golf?
Golf trips like 3 days, 4 rounds. At a warm, you go to only cold places too. You're a polar bear. I saw some pictures of you, by the way, at Kiowa from a few years
boy,
back.
yeah,
But
yeah,
you
I
sent
don't
them to
do
me.
back there.
Never seen a human sweat like that. Holy shit! You
drink
go to the
a hard
hardest
chill.
places to have a golf trip, like the most brutal.
I know.
I'm 18 and done. I want to go do something. I tee off around 11, 12, 18,
And
cocktails, and then go have a fun night.
And you're going to walking places. That's 18 in a carts are.
there's no carts.
It takes a special place to get out on.
This is why we go to
Oh,
Shadow
it's-
Creek in Southern Highlands.
I know.
And you can drive-
That's the program that I like. But I have most things in life, I have a hard time saying no. So I'm like, God, and then Ken puts a little pressure on me. He fucked me in Detroit, too. He was the general manager for Detroit back in the day. I don't know. I should just tell this guy to pound sand. But he's like, hey, Commie, really need you. I'm like, you know what? I got 10 days. And then I go to this. Went to Bandon Dunes, 15 rounds, 10 days, left with the yips. That was 2 years ago.
Left with the
I
yips.
can't chip it. I'm horrified. Now it's all bumping. And I don't.
Putters from everywhere. You go to those two. You go to Europe and
I
then
got that
Bandon, and
long
you're putting
putter.
from 60
The
yards.
gooch.
It's normal.
So the cooch is a little hairy off the green.
Mm-hmm.
I use the old bump and run with the old whatever
Hybrid?
wood.
Hybrid?
What do you got?
Yeah.
Hybrid?
I got a high loft 3 wood.
Okay.
I mean, it's just,
Just get it on the ground and get it forward.
Yeah, just
No
get it.
disaster.
Just don't blade it and don't leave it
I
right
went-
at your feet.
I went on this little golf trip. It was 17 days, 42 rounds. I don't know. Just some of the fellas.
You play more golf than Sung J.M. It's not even close.
That's saying something, but he keeps getting better, and I'm getting
You
way
both
worse.
peer it. You both
He
right out of
pauses
the
a little
middle.
bit, doesn't he?
Oh, he's got
Or a
he's
little
got that
slow?
slow
Kind of
takeaway.
stops about halfway back and then
He's-
keeps going.
He's
I need to start
thinking.
swinging it like him, maybe.
Before we get back to the beautiful Mike Commodore, I got to tell you, it is still time. You still got time to go over to the Golf.com Pro Shop, pick you up some Birdie Juice merch like this hat right here, the Gravy Bird. We got hoodies, towels, tumblers, everything you could want. No code needed. When you check out, it's 20% off. So head over to the Golf.com Pro Shop, check out the Birdie Juice collection, and get 20% off. Back to Mike Commodore.
What about your member guest? You play a lot of member guests. You had any good runs in those this year? Any
Well, since you've
any
been-
trophies?
Since you've been on,
Trophies,
we
shit.
played Southern Highlands member guest in Vegas. And after 4 days, we realized our rooms actually connected,
Yes.
which was awesome.
That was nice of you to give me that room. I had no idea you were literally next door.
Yeah, and we had a connecting door that
And like,
had no clue.
Oh, you're right here, Cole? Perfect.
We also rode up with a rather famous DJ who you just thought he was a normal fella, having a nice conversation with him.
Yeah, who was that again?
Zed.
Zed?
See, I do remember you. Now
Tommy
that
was
you
telling
say
him
it,
all about my golf game. He was asking all this.
I had
all
no
stuff.
clue. This
No
guy's
clue.
like
this
a
guy was.
huge deal.
It's like, yeah,
And then he thought we were-
I sell out.
And then he thought we were
Madison
following
Square
him off
Garden.
the elevator. We were actually just on the same floor.
That's
Zed?
right. You know what? I actually completely
Yeah.
forgot about that.
I
The
wouldn't know
DJ
him either.
world. No, I had no.
We get to the room, and I'm like, "Do you have any idea who that was?" He's like, "That guy we just followed." I was like, "Yeah, his name's Zed. He's a DJ. He makes about $400,000 a night."
God damn.
Yeah,
Should have been a
That's
DJ.
a fucking gig right there.
That's the
doing?
best
That is
gig.
the gig. I'm
Other
gonna
than
play
your
Vegas
hours-
for a month. I'm gonna make $25 million, and then I don't know what I'll do for a while.
Other than your lack of sleep and probably the drugs you have to do.
Yeah, but it's the
Okay
cost
with
of doing business. You know what I mean? You can get,
You'll
a,
adjust.
you can get a good rehab for 25 mil.
Right now, I'm paying way too much
Kidding
money
me?
for golf, and I got a drinking problem.
Yeah.
I mean, it can't be any worse in Vegas being a DJ.
25 days in Europe.
Yeah.
60
Oh,
rounds. You're gonna need a
Christ.
little rehab too.
Oh,
Well, you've been obviously going on some fancy trips, spending some
Yeah.
cash. I just heard an incredible story how you possibly might have try to make some side cash, not Uber, but possibly putting some golf clubs on Craigslist.
oh, okay.
So, real quick, before you get started, because there's two versions of this story, they're very different, but I like both versions. So, take us through it. James Neal, the real deal, had some very fancy PXG clubs.
Well, apparently, yes. So he paid. PXG clubs aren't cheap. I've never ordered them, so I'm not good. It doesn't matter. Aren't they the same thing as Pings?
I don't know.
Allegedly.
Okay. Yes, allegedly. Anyways, James has come here to Scottsdale when I've been in town. I'd say to golf. He's coming to town. This would probably be. He's here right now. His 5th time. He just saw Whisper Rock 2 days ago.
This is
So
correct.
the first 4 trips here, not even close to the golf course. So he comes in. He's staying with me. This is a few years ago. I think might have been an all-star break or something for him.
Yes.
I was retired. My recollection of it is he shows up with these clubs, tailor-mades. Shows up with these tailor-mades. Doesn't come close to the golf course. There's a bunch of guys in town because it's the all-star break. The clubs end up getting left at my house. He ends up calling me later, like a week or two later. Hey, my clubs. I'm like, yeah, dude, I got them right here. They're still in the bag. Like whatever's in there is still in there. I haven't opened it up. Then he starts telling me about this story about how he ordered PXG. He spent $8 or $10,000. He's never seen them. So I'm like, well, that sounds like bullshit. And I know Fuge a little bit. So I'm like, well, maybe. I'm like, James, are you sure? I mean, how do you just order clubs? And I'm like, where'd you get them shipped to? Do you have any idea? He just goes off. So I'm like, look, I'll go over. So I go over. I see food. It's the only time I've ever been at PXG. It had nothing to do with myself. I go, hey, man, the real deal. Order clubs. Look, I have no idea. But, is there any way of maybe tracking these things down? Yeah, we'll get on it. So from my recollection, I never saw these clubs. Fuge did not hand me a set of clubs. Nothing got shipped to my house. But his golf clubs, his TaylorMades, now he's playing the last 40 games of the NHL season. I thought it would be funny. I'm like, this guy can kiss my ass. So I thought it would be funny to he was like kind of chirping me a little bit, I think, on Twitter or something. So I'm like, you know what? This bag's still sitting in my house. I'm going to put his clubs on Craigslist. Who wants real deals clubs? So I took pictures. I'm like, for sale. I don't remember any PXGs been in there. They were the TaylorMades. I didn't end up selling them, but he hasn't seen them since because then I sold my house and I just tossed them in somebody's storage unit, and I have no idea where they are. They're gone.
Yeah, his version is much
So you didn't sell them on Craigslist though.
Somebody
You
definitely could
just
have
put them in
sold
a storage. Okay, yeah, it could have been Jack, but you didn't sell them. You didn't ship them to somebody on Craigslist.
No, I don't know how to do that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he says you sold them for
I was
$3,000
gonna be
and just
impressed.
pocketed the money.
I mean,
But
that's
his
probably
version's
what I
much
put them
different.
on. Like, yeah, I was definitely having fun online. Posting, it was the only time I ever posted anything on Craigslist, but I didn't actually sell them. And then when I went to your condo, because I bought my condo off you.
Home of champs.
Goddamn right, the place was beautiful. When I went from a house to a condo, I'm like,
Place is beautiful.
I'm downsizing here. The last thing I need is real deals clubs. I mean, I'm going into a condo. So I threw them in a storage unit. Haven't seen them since. I have no idea where those are.
Tough shit. You leave your stuff at the crib.
I don't feel
It's
bad
like a
about it at
squatter.
all.
Yeah,
He'll be
dude.
okay.
After
He'll be fine.
You mentioned the chirping on Twitter a little bit. I feel like you've kind of calmed it down a little on Twitter, quieted down a little bit. Is it true or no? Or
Big time.
yeah,
Is there a reason?
Yeah.
corporate man.
No.
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 A little bit that.
No.
You're a working man now.
Kind of. Did you get in trouble?
No trouble. There was two things. I mean, I guess at the end of the day, my not main goal. That sounds a little bit weird. Kind of one of the things that I did on there was to give it to Mike Babcock. Mm-hmm. So yes, maybe sometimes I went too far, and
it's very subtle.
Yeah, hit by a bus. Go fuck yourself. But he ended up getting canned in Toronto, and then it ended up. And I'm not going to say that. I mean, well. It kind of went, there was like a month and a half in the hockey world. There was like kind of a all of us, Babs got canned because, and then guys started saying like, mistreated and the guy's an asshole and he's a piece of shit, which he is 100%. He's a terrible human being. I'm all for that one. And I guess I'm all for all of them, but then it ended up being like, there ended up being more coaches canned. And I mean, I got into a spot, at least from how I was looking at it, where I'm like, all of a sudden there started to be like this whirlwind a little bit where it's like everybody's just coming out and firing shit at coaches and kind of not expecting me to be involved, but kind of had something to do with it. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God. And, we got one guy giving it to Peter Laviolette, who was my coach when we were in Carolina when we won. I like Peter, and I like 99% of my coaches. And it was just, I'm like, oh God. I'm like, I don't want to get all of a sudden like the sounding board for people getting shit canned. And when because I had good experiences with most people, so that was kind of part of it. And then I was up in China and COVID hits. I mean, you can't, in my opinion, look, it's been a rough. I mean, COVID lasted here for what, 4 months, maybe?
Depends where you live, I think.
Right, 100% it does, and we don't need to get into that whole angle of it. But I mean, I would read some mentions a little bit, and my head's about to explode. I'm like, I have to. So to be honest, since that piece of shit got fired, I used to look at my mentions like, honestly, like daily for sure, and I'd interact and stuff, and then. That combined with a few months later, COVID, I mean, I'm like, I got to back this off or I'm going to say something that's really going to get me in trouble. And so I've actually pumped the brakes. But
well, we miss you.
You moved it from Babs, though, to Trudeau for a while.
Right. Which, I mean, this guy, like I said.
Just kind of moved the aggression.
He's the prime minister of China. I think he's pretty much getting what he's wanted. And I don't know enough to like. I don't even want to get into the politics. I mean,
let's not get into politics.
Yeah. So I have gone the Trudeau way because it is a joke up there in Canada. It is now more normal, but we are a breath away from going more towards China. So I have just tried to take a step back and kind of. But I do need to get more involved. I started a podcast finally, I guess, in one way. So
What's the name?
Yeah, plug.
Shout out.
Give it a plug.
Clear in the crease. Yeah, I learned a valuable lesson on Sunday. We just did our second episode. First episode, I thought went fine. Second episode, day after your wedding, learned a valuable lesson.
Tough day to record.
Tough day to record, but we got Andrew Raycroft. He's in Boston. We got James Cebulski. He's in Vancouver. We got to put guys together. They're like, "Can you make it work?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure. I can make it work." Let's take it easy today. Sunday. If I'm in Calgary, I'm not doing anything. Real deal stays another day. Next, I'm like, well, just have a couple. So I ended up doing the Sunday podcast. Let's just say it needs some heavy editing to make sure I don't look super wasted.
That's just that's the cost of doing business, dude.
I did tell you though. I know it's tough scheduling when people are all over the place, but Sundays is just not a good day to record.
Yeah,
because you never know where. I mean, we ended up going down to Old Town, watching football, having some pops, and the next thing you know, oh shit, I got to go film.
Right.
And now's not a good time.
No, and I was sitting at Worm's place there, and I thought it was okay, but at the end of the day, I don't remember anything I said.
People know you for you, and they're going to love it no matter what. But I will have to say.
I think it's still, but I don't need to be going on there just being wasted.
Oh, just
a little buzz.
A little tuned up.
Yeah, a little tuned up is totally fine. I get that, but I mean.
But I do have to thank you for coming to the wedding because you were one of the stars of the show. You absolutely killed it. You're out on the dance floor,
remember.
shirt kind of open a little bit. I do have to ask, though, do you think more red wine hit your mouth or your shirt?
I just actually saw my shirt today.
Yeah, you were
pulling it.
purple.
I don't even remember
Like
drinking
Barney
that wine.
walking around that bitch. I was like, God damn.
I don't think-
Is this a costume wedding? What the fuck?
I
am
don't think
doing
you
here?
did drink it. You just spilled it
No,
all
there's
over
no
yourself.
way I was drinking. I usually don't drink wine. I will say that the wedding was incredible. Our table was incredible. There was a lot of people there that I hadn't seen and a lot of new people that I met from my recollection. And then we ended up on the dance floor. I'm a terrible dancer. I don't belong anywhere near it, like at all. But everybody was having fun. And then, yeah, I've seen a couple pictures. And God, it was a good time, though.
There was a lot of goals scored at that table you were sitting at.
Yeah, there'd be about, Jesus, yeah. Did Brett have 800?
Close enough.
Close enough. Let's just call it 800. Real deal? Real deal's got to have 300?
No. There was over 1,000 goals sitting at the table.
Yeah, I had 21 of them.
Yeah, exactly. You don't get
Attaboy,
over
that's
you
sick.
don't get over
Years.
1,000 without that
Hey,
21.
0.1 goals a year.
You got more cups than the real deal.
Yeah, you had that big boy.
That's right.
You had that big boy for a day.
That's right.
Let's stay on hockey for a little while now because you have some of the best stories in the history, the best storyteller. One thing we didn't get into last time on the show,
Okay.
and this is legendary era in your life, I would say, is your time in Russia.
Okay.
The Continental Hockey League.
Yes. Is
Yes.
it called it the K, right? Is it K,
Yeah,
KHL, some
the
shit like that?
KHL, yep.
Give us a little bit, like that was your into your career, right? You're
Last
kind of
year.
like, I'm not ready to hang it up, but
Yep.
NHL missed my time, missed the camps, all that
They
sort of
were
stuff.
done with
Let's
me.
go over there.
Yep.
You go over there. Give me what your time, it was one season, correct?
One
Give me
season.
the one season over there, and I know a few of the stories too, but you got to tell everybody because they're all time.
Yeah, it was. Everything was done here. It was for sure. There was nobody calling. I had put the work in the summer, where I thought and I want to play, and so that's kind of a common move in hockey is when you're kind of done in North America. I didn't want to play in the American League anymore because I'm like, I did that when I was 21, 22, 23. Going back when you're 34, I mean, it isn't that much fun. So I'm like, I'm going to try something new. So the only league, there's a lot of good leagues over there. Like Switzerland's good, Sweden's good, Finland's good, Germany's good. I mean, for the game that I wasn't a goal scorer, so like those, I mean, Switzerland's not interested in me, and you can only have so many roster spots on your team. But I played the World Championships 7 or 8 years before in Moscow, and so for whatever reason, I'm like, you know what? I'll go back and play there. I would like to play there. So I ended up through a former coach of mine, Slav Tisov, who's like literally, I mean, I think if you were to say which hockey player has the most money in their bank right now,
Is it?
I think he's it. Wow. I mean, I'm going to assume if you're Putin's right-hand man, you are probably
He's okay.
swimming in it. Now, they're rubles. You're going to need like a ton of them. But so I ended up going over there, signed on a team where I was familiar with Russia a little bit. I knew where kind of some of the teams are. So it was like Russia and Europe. And I ended up signing. I signed the contract, which I didn't care anyways. I just wanted to play. But I ended up on a team that was on the Pacific Ocean, like 60 miles from North Korea.
Oh, convenient.
Very
Good
convenient.
spot to be.
Right, great spot
Right
to
there
be.
within range.
We had one team called Haveros that was like an hour flight north. And then other than that, every single team was at least a 10-hour flight away.
Sounds
10
Also
awesome.
good.
Oh, my God. So, and they had it set up back then. I haven't paid attention lately, but there was 28 teams in the league then, and you played a home and home with every team in the league, and that was your season. So it was 54 games. So the point of the story is that team that was an hour away that would have been very convenient to play quite a few times, we played once in Haveros. They played once in Vladivostok, just like Prague, which was 15 hours away.
Holy shit.
Oh, it was insane.
Tell us about
15.
Tell us about where you were
15.
sitting on that plane, though.
So my first, if we're looking at Russia, there's the two teams out there way out east, and then there's kind of a pocket of teams like Yekaterinburg and Omsk that are kind of like, I mean, Russia's 9 time zones, I think, 9 or 10. So there was a couple of teams, or there was a pocket of teams, probably 5 or 6, something like that, that were kind of 2/3 away, like of the way across the country, where it didn't make sense, and the rest of it was like Moscow or further west. So if it made sense, and we played 4 games on the road, 4 at home, 4 games on the road, 4 at home. So if it made sense to fly to Moscow first, we would take we'd take an Aeroflot flight, which would be a jumbo jet. The tickets were like, this is a 9-hour flight. The tickets were like $50, maybe.
Nice.
Reasonable.
So, very reasonable.
Pre-inflation.
Yeah. So, and I'm on a professional hockey team, so I'm not paying it first. So my first trip, I learned real fast. So I'm like, oh, perfect. Yeah, okay, well, Aeroflot, that sounds good. I'm not thinking like first class, but I'm not thinking like the $50 ticket where we're back with the sheep. I mean, then it just put me in a kennel and throw me underneath the
Exit
plane.
row, maybe at least.
Oh, not even close. So the first flight, so they have nobody in these. I mean, obviously, it's a 9-hour flight, so it's a jumbo jet. First class is huge and wide open, and then the back of the plane, because the tickets are cheap, all of coach is just rammed. So I did one flight like that, and I'm sitting there, not all Russians, but we were kind of out in the country a little bit, a little different smell on the plane. I'm like this. I'm 34 years old. I got some back problems to begin with. I am rammed in this seat for 9 hours. I'm like, this is never happening again. So from that point forward, I would get my ticket. So from every trip on, when it was an Aeroflot flight. Other than that, we'd charter a plane, but it still took 10 hours because you had to refuel in the middle of nowhere. So I'd check in, hey guys, come with the team to the airport. I'm like, hey, give my ticket. I'd be like, yeah. And I'd do it in a good way where I wasn't being a dick. I'm like, I ain't sitting in that seat. I'd be like this with the ticket, right in the airport, just rip it up, go right to the first class desk. And so I'd check in first. Literally the rest of it was me, the sport director, and the head coach. None of them spoke English, so I was up there on my own. I had all the space in the world, free booze, so I'd stand there as coach is walking in, like the coach seating all these guys. I'm like, hey, how you guys doing? What's going on? I forget what I said. There was a Russian term for it. It'll come to me. But anyways, I never came close to sitting coach again. It was the greatest.
How'd your teammates feel about that? Do they care?
You know what? I did it.
Couldn't
I did it in a
understand
good
him.
way.
Who gives a shit?
Well, there was a couple. They actually, the Russians couldn't, but I did it in a way where, I was paying for the ticket. They could have done that too.
True.
There was literally 30 seats up
They
there.
weren't Stanley Cup champions though, Mike.
No, they
Hockey
weren't.
question for you. How do you play for a coach that doesn't speak the language you speak? How does he coach you?
So
That seems
great
tough.
question.
Yeah.
Great
seems
question.
like a barrier.
The thing is, hockey-wise, when I was in Russia, I thought when I first went over there and watched a practice, because they screwed my visa up for 6 weeks, which ended up being good because I would travel with the team. The traveling part I could have done without because it was too far, but I would skate with the team. I showed up. When I said I put the work in the summer, I did, but then there was kind of a gap there for 3 weeks, so things kind of went out the window.
Right, as they do.
So I needed to catch up a little bit. So the fact that I couldn't play for 6 weeks actually ended up being okay because then I got back in decent shape. But as my first practice that I watched in Vladivostok, all these Russians, they can all skate, they can all shoot, they can all pass the puck, they can all handle the puck. I was watching practice, I'm like, Jesus, these guys look like they're moving out there. But the problem is, and then I figured out once I started playing, is that they can all do that, but this is 8 years ago, but I'm sure things haven't changed that much over there. Problem is with Russian hockey is that, they all have individual skills, but they have no directions. Their coaching is still stuck in the 60s. So, one of our assistant coaches played 500 games in the National Hockey League. He was a good player. And I asked him when I first started playing, I'm like, his name's Alex or Igor. You got a pretty good chance that's their name. I go, hey, Alex. I go, hey, where am I supposed to go in the D zone or, what are we doing here? He's like, Mike. I go, yeah, or Misha. Misha's Mike and Michael in Russian. Misha, you're a pro. You'll figure it out. I'm like, and this is a guy who played in the NHL. Yeah. So I never spoke to the head coach.
Beautiful. That's
couldn't
the
talk.
ideal
Oh, it was
scenario.
actually
Can't get your ass chewed. Can't do anything.
It was actually great. We'd come in between periods, practice. I wouldn't even pay attention to shit.
No, fucking.
Nobody's
I
talking
just
to
get
me.
out there,
I can't
skate,
understand
do my
anything.
shit, and then leave.
But the shitty part was I'd be out on the ice. I can't communicate. I mean, there was 5 other imports on the team, so there was some guys I could communicate with a little bit. But if I'm out there with Russians, which usually it was, I mean, I go back for a puck. And, to pick the puck up and, break the puck out or whatever and try and go on offense. And it is, you don't hear anything. I get the puck and I'm like, I have no idea where anybody's going to be. They just all skate around, like flying around. But, I mean, made it work. At the end of the day.
How many years?
Yeah.
You're triple champ like you?
Shit. I'm like,
What-
yeah, that's
how many
fine.
years
Don't
did you play
talk
over
to
there?
them. Just one.
Just one. All right. Well, we do have to go to because there are some rather nice things over in Russia, including some
Definitely.
fine dining.
Fine dining. Yeah. I think
Did you ever get to experience any of the fine dining over in Russia?
Well, yeah. We had
Good spots, huh?
Yeah.
We had a really nice French place in Vladivostok, from what I remember.
Okay.
Yeah. I did get in trouble there. We came back from one of our trips, so like I was touching on earlier, where we went out, we played the Red Army in Moscow. We do the 9 or 10 hour flight back, and so by this time, this was kind of like halfway through the time I was there, where I'm like, I figured out with the jet lag and everything, I'm like, you can't just go to bed when you want. Like, you have to grind it out. Otherwise, your hours are going to be totally screwed. And it's not like we had a ton of time. There'd be like a couple days and then another game. So you have to try and stay on some kind of program. So anyways, to shorten it up, I'm at my apartment, downtown Vladivostok. And I'm like, I have to stay up. I'm so tired. I have to stay up. So one of the Russians that actually spoke English, he played for the Senators, Ilya Zubov. He messaged me. He's like, hey, let's go for dinner. I'm like, yeah, sounds good. I have a condo right downtown. And I'm like, where are we going? He's like, I'll meet you at the Brasserie. I'm like, okay, perfect. It's like a couple blocks away. So I walked everywhere. I had a full-time driver there. Full-time driver.
Wow.
For $500 American dollars a month.
God.
Full
Sounds
time.
incredible. Other than
Call
all
him
the other
whenever.
shit going on.
Oh my God! I mean,
be-
when I left,
you're a king
and I
over
gave
there.
him some extra cash and everything because I felt bad. Give him some extra cash. When I left, he was literally bawling at the airport. Like when the season was over, Igor, he was a good guy. No English either. I got one of those Google Translate apps or whatever.
Yeah.
And I just go like this, show him, or play it, and it would sometimes get a little screwed up. Anyways, go to dinner. But I like to walk too and get moving around a little bit and walk so I can stay awake. So we go to this brasserie on I think it was a Sunday night place. We'll get there at like 5 or 6 o'clock at night. Place is slammed, totally packed. And on a North American standards, it was like a 5-star restaurant. It'd be like a Scottsdale.
Like a Mastro's?
Like, let's call Mastro's a 5. I'd say this place is definitely no worse than a 4, 4.5.
Okay.
It was solid.
Nice spot.
Nice spot.
Classy, yeah.
Very classy, yeah. We get in there. It's me, Ilya. He speaks English. And another Russian guy, no English, young kid. He was like 18 or 19. So we get in there. I mean, the point is to have dinner. I think I had, I ordered a shrimp salad. I think I had a couple pieces of lettuce. I think maybe one shrimp. And we were just smashing beers. And we were over, I got into the Sapporos until I got gout. I got into the Sapporos over there because we were basically in Asia. So we are smashing, and Russian beer is rude. Don't ever drink Russian beer. So we are smashing. We all are, but I'm really smashing them. So I end up not really eating. I am pretty hammered. It's like 7 o'clock. And from my recollection of it, place is packed. I'm like, all right, let's go. So I pay the tab. Rubles, who gives a shit? Get up, and we're going to go to the music bar. Like this bar, like literally 24/7. It doesn't matter. Year-round, this place never closes. So that's kind of the plan where we're going to go. So the 18-year-old goes to the bathroom. Ilya was talking to somebody in the restaurant or something. So I walk out, and I had to walk through like a little kind of entryway, a brick entryway. Next thing I know, I am shoved up against the wall. I've got a hand around my throat. And I've got a guy punching me right in the face in front of me. And I got a guy punching me in the face from the side. So, like I said, I was crushing a few beers. I'm like, holy Christ, what is going on? So I like tuck my chin. I'm like, don't get knocked out. Don't get knocked out. Don't get knocked out. What is going on?
This is in the restaurant still.
Right in the
Just
right,
out of nowhere, just
like the
you're just
restaurant.
ambushed.
From what I remember.
Okay, all right.
And yes, so like not in the actual dining room, but like
The little entry.
8 feet away. So these guys are teeing off on me. I'm getting you sober up quickly this is Russia too. The first thing I'm like, A, what is going on? B, this is Russia. I don't speak the language. There wasn't a whole lot of English like at all in Vladivostok. So I'm like, as far as I'm concerned, I'm like kind of fighting for my life. I mean, I can't talk to these people. I have no idea if they have a knife. I mean, I need to kind of show up here a little bit if I want to make it home. That's what was going through my mind. And so anyways, I kind of get it together a little bit. I shove the guy off that's teeing on. I mean, it was a joke, 2-on-1. And I grab the guy in front of me, and I did hit him hard, right in the middle of the nose, bust his nose, bleeding all over himself. He's kind of down a little bit, and I go right after the guy that I just shoved. Well, we end up going flying in. To the guy's credit, I just smashed his nose. It didn't even really seem like it mattered too much because he stayed right in it. So the three of us go flying into this packed restaurant. This is a nice restaurant. Like, very nice. We go flying into this thing, right into a table, food everywhere. And, like I said earlier, as far as I'm concerned, this is on. So I'm throwing chairs. I am throwing whatever I can get my hands on right at them. People are screaming, running out of the restaurant. The staff goes back to the back corner. They're horrified. And it is on. I found out the next day, the 18-year-old who went to the bathroom, he said he through a translator the next day. He was like, Misha, saying it in Russian, obviously, but he's like, Misha, I'm sorry. I had to go, which I understand that because he's 18 years old. He gets caught in something like that. I mean, I'm 34 years old. What are you going to do, kick me off the team? Go ahead. I don't give a shit. Him, like, he's just trying to get his career going. So he ran out the door. Ilya kind of figures out what's going on. He kind of gets into it. So I end up tweaking my knee a little bit, but I stay in the fight, throwing chairs, tossing tables. I mean, they're throwing shit at me, too. It's not like it's a one-way street. I mean, I'm in trouble. Ilya's kind of hangs in there. From what I remember, the end of the fight, I end up in a chokehold. So I'm on the ground. The guy's like, I'm me. He's underneath me. This guy's choking me out. His buddy is just booting me in the face.
Booting me.
Booting me in the face. My buddy Ilya, like, jumps on top of him. I'm trying to reverse headbutt the guy, underneath me, like, trying to get out of this. I hear sirens come. All of a sudden, these guys get up and they're out the door. I'm assuming they probably didn't have a real stellar criminal record, I'm going to guess. So, and I said this before, but I should have taken a picture because I'm like, get off the ground. Thank God these cops came, or a cop. I like pull myself off the floor. My knee's a little sore. I'm like, God damn it. I look around the restaurant, and nothing was like broken, but there was shit. I mean, everywhere. Cutlery, tables, chairs, food, everything. I'm like, I should have taken like a panoramic picture. I was like, oh, what the fuck just happened? So walk outside, thrown in cuffs, back of the cop car, get taken to the police station. I get thrown in jail. Like I said, we're kind of in Asia, Mongolia. I get tossed in jail or whatever. I don't want to drunk tank, whatever a cell in the police station with like 25, 30. I mean, there's a bunch of Mongolian looking Asian. I mean, I stand out. Let's put it that way. And I'm just like, what the fuck? So I end up in there for 2 hours. My buddy Ilya there is making phone calls. He's like calling the mafia in Moscow. I'm like, I got jumped at a restaurant. What do you want me to do?
And you still don't have no idea why.
No idea.
Just out of nowhere, you're walking out there, and the dude's just
out of nowhere, 100%. And I ended up getting out because there was a guy walking by. He was like in street clothes. Walked by a couple times. He was looking at me, and then after like walking by a couple times, he just opened up the jail cell.
Yeah.
He's like, Misha? I'm like, da, which is yeah in Russian. I'm like, da. He's like, okay. And so I just walked right out the door, and I walked right out in front of the police station. He took me straight back to the bar.
He just comes in and snaps his fingers. They open the door.
He just walked in, grabbed me.
He wasn't a cop?
No.
So
I thought he was. He definitely was not.
should introduce him to Brittany Griner.
Yeah, she needs.
could use a little-
I'll tell you what, Brittany.
help like that.
Brittany needs my boy. I think his
Holy
name was
shit.
Igor.
So you got
too.
out of there, and then after that, it was just like, all right, that happened. It's over. Nothing. Never.
Out of there, he takes me to that music bar. I'm like, my face is swollen. I've been kicked in the face. I've been punched in the face. I'm like, I need to get out of here. I do not need to be sitting at the bar. We got practice tomorrow. So I'm like, I can't remember. I think his name was Igor.
Alex.
And yeah, Igor or Alex. And so I end up walking home. I show up the next day. Long story super short. They're going to kick me off the team. They're pissed off at me. I'm like, I can't go out to eat. I went out to eat. This wasn't at 2 in the morning. It was at like 5 or 6. What do you want me to do? I can't go outside my apartment? They have a little discussion. And like I said, I can't understand anything. There was a translator in there. So they're like, you know what? We'll keep you on the team, but we're fining you a month's pay. And so I do a quick math. I'm like, month's pay? I'm like, these guys are fining me. I think it was 45 grand American I was making a month. I'm like, I thought it was going to be like $1,000. So I'm like, this is a joke. And there was a sport director for the team who was he had I didn't know what it was when I got there, but tattoos all over his hands and on his neck, jail tattoos. And he's our sport director. He loved me. Didn't know a whole lot about hockey, but every once in a while I'd run somebody over, and he loved that. And so he starts talking, and he goes, "You know what? We're going to fine you a month's pay." We had 4 games left in the regular season. This happened right before the Sochi Olympics. We had a month off, then we had 4 games. We needed to win 3 of them to make the playoffs. We're an expansion team. It's a pretty good accomplishment with that travel. It's actually kind of crazy because it is a really good league. So anyways, long story short, they fine me a month's pay. I'm like, well, fine. I go, you guys are 2 months behind. You better pay me or I'm out of here, because they're like, we'll kick you off the team. I'm like, that's fine. I'm like, I'll leave this afternoon. You can keep all my shit. I don't care. I'll be out of here momentarily. Good luck making the playoffs without your best defenseman. No, that was probably pushing it a little bit.
But that's how you sell it.
That's how
I'm
I'm selling myself. So anyways, we end up, they find me. If there's one thing Russians really, really care about, 2 things. Russians care about rubles, and don't ever make them look bad in front of women. They don't like that either at all. But the point of my story is rubles. They want cash. So I got to grab whatever 45,000 times, I think 60 is. That's how many rubles I had to go. So I had to go to the bank. I'm like, I'm getting jumped for sure out of this. I put this, it was cold there, obviously, so I'm putting this shit in my park. I got rubles everywhere. So I'm sprinting back up the hill to get my condo. I'm going to go to practice next day. I had all these guys calling me, where are you? We need our money. I'm like, would you guys relax? I have the money. I'll be there tomorrow. But they just get all heated up when it comes to rubles. But in their defense, I handed it to them the next day. We ended up winning our last game to make the playoffs. And, everybody's all pumped. It was a home game too. Arena's going crazy. These guys are all screaming playoffs or whatever in Russian, I'm assuming. And I'm just screaming. I'm like, rubles! Where are my rubles? So I'm in the dressing room. Where are my rubles? And to their credit, he kept $3,000 worth of rubles to pay the police, to buy them some new TVs, and the rest went right back into my pocket. I thought it was a pretty good deal.
Worked out all right. I can't believe you have to
out.
go down to the bank and get the cash, and then can they just withhold your pay?
Well, they owed me a couple of months.
Yeah, they already owe you money. So be like, all right, you owe me 2 months. Just give me a month.
Good question. Sorry, it took me a second there.
You got to run down to the bank and stuff your Parker full of 300,000 rubles.
Yeah. Oh, it was more than that.
It was more than that. 60 times 45. Yeah, way more than that.
It was
2
rubles.
billion?
I had rubles
I'm not a
coming
big
out
math guy.
everywhere.
It is nice to have a Russian mob guy as your sports director.
So have you been been back to Russia since you played?
No. So when I left there, I did leave there, I guess, on my own accord. So I wired all my money out of there, whatever I had left. And you have to keep $1 million rubles, which I think right now is probably in America. Well, right now, it's probably not much, but at the time it was probably 20 grand America. For some reason, you couldn't close your account and wire everything. You had to keep some in there. I left. I'm like, and I actually, obviously that was a terrible story and that wasn't a whole lot of fun, but there were some long days there. But I enjoyed Russia. Like I thought the people were awesome. I thought the people in charge, like they're just so used to the people in charge just totally screw them. But I did have a good time there. But then I heard those two dudes that I got into a fight. I had to go give a police statement, which was the biggest joke ever. I had I actually literally had a beer in my hand as I'm sitting in the police station, and the guy's translating from the team. And I'm like, look, I don't know what happened. I went to the brasserie. I was drinking soda water. I had a steak. And then just all of a sudden, these guys started punching me. The police officer, this woman, was laughing. Just, okay, through laughing. She knew it was all bullshit. Yeah. So anyways, I heard those guys. It went on for I have no idea what's going on now. That was 8 years ago. But a couple of years later, Ilya messaged me on WhatsApp. And he's like, man, these guys are still trying to press charges against you.
Oh, my God.
So I would say it's pretty safe to say that I'm not, I won't be going back to Russia.
Okay, we'll keep you here.
Yeah.
Or in
So it's just like a shakedown. Like, here's an American playing the NHL. He's got some money. Let's go jump him, and then we can file some charges.
I'm going to say it was probably something like
some
that.
sort of bullshit.
I'm hammering some beers. One of the guys I'm with speaks English. I'm talking English, which would be weird there. These guys probably aren't the most, reputable dudes in the world. And they're like, well, he must do something here. And I would guess. But then I got a weird tweet, too, that it was... Anyways, I didn't do anything. I mean, what was I did think about it because I'm like, there's no way I did anything. Like, I was hanging out with these two guys. I speak a language nobody understands. So what am I going to say to anybody in there? Nobody's going to understand.
That's why it's scary. You don't even know if the translator, as you're telling her your story, is even saying the right shit.
Good point.
Be like, yeah, I wanted to kill him. I started it.
That's a good
You
point.
could be making up anything.
Good point.
You get locked up over there. It's hard to reverse that. What was the tweet?
The tweet was like... It came out of nowhere from an account that was their only tweet. It was like, I can't believe a man of your reputation. I think what they meant was like a
reputable
pro athlete,
guy, yeah.
like pro athlete would do something like that. I remember reading it. This was like 2 days later, and I read it, and I'm like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I did have a few Sapporos. But
nothing
it's
wrong
not
with
like I don't run my mouth like to the random people, like to my buddies. Yeah, but I didn't do anything. There's no way.
That's weird.
Well, yeah, let's just not go back to Russia.
But you got out of there.
Yeah,
but
got out of there.
I got to ask, because I think one of the favorite stories from everyone that has listened to your first podcast was when you were Uber driving. Sure. And in your passenger, Phil.
Yeah. Oh, Phil.
Any contact with Phil?
Oh, it's Philly.
No contact with Phil. No contact with Phil. Have thought about getting back into Uber driving a little bit, even up where I'm living right now, up in Calgary. Thinking about that. I'm not sure a pickup truck is real conducive to Uber driving. That's what I drive. I drive a raffle truck up there that I won in a raffle. It actually does happen, which is unbelievable. Yeah, it's nice.
A raffle truck?
Really?
I wanted a raffle.
Yeah.
Not like a hole-in-one truck. Raffle truck?
Hole-in-one. I mean, I got a couple.
I mean, I'm sure you knocked those down. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You got like
I
you.
always aim at flags.
Pre-Hideki? Oh, my God. You were lasers.
Joke. Now, I actually did win a truck in a raffle. I am thinking about getting back into it, but we shall see. But no contact with Phil. After a shaky start, Phil was a good dude. I won't go that far. I didn't know him that well, but he finished strong. I'll give Phil that. So no, not yet. But I almost feel like if you guys are going to have me on a third time, I might have to drive for Uber.
I think you
We
should.
will. I think
because
you
there's
just
still
do a
more
little-
stories to get to. We just
Calgary.
don't have enough time
Just
for
do it for a few days. Some shit will happen. I guarantee it. And you can come back and tell it.
I do it in Calgary. There could be, I could have some good stories.
Are we going to see you at WM Phoenix Open?
So I was on the fence about that until you told me about your event.
Possible event. We don't want to tease it too much right now.
Yeah.
But
Okay, I
possible
won't say
event
anything. Okay,
Oh,
a
yeah.
possible
where you might
event.
have the chance to play golf
Potential.
with Mike Commodore.
Maybe. For an enormous sum of money. A lot
of rubles.
Rubles for days if you want to play with
Tell you what,
Tommy.
I got 1,000,000 rubles in
Yeah,
Vladivostok.
come on, we got these weird
You got to
two-
go get them, but
We got these weird two Russian guys that really want to play with you, dude. We put you out. You're on 13B.
So safe to say you will be in town. I mean, it's Phoenix
Just say
Open.
it.
I
It's
know,
Super Bowl.
I know.
Say it.
Yeah, I'll be in town. Yeah, I
Ah.
mean, I got a little scrambling to do because I don't own a place here right now. But yes, I mean, who am I kidding?
Where's the condo? Where's the Champions Lair?
I don't have one. I
shit.
sold it.
God,
Oh,
You can stay in
better-
Joe's guest room.
Crazy. Crazy.
I'm just going
coin
to
for
take
that.
over Joe's
I'll
house.
volunteer just the whole house.
The whole house.
Let's just offer
Joe
on
can
his
sleep
behalf.
up at the course.
Actually, as he should.
Yeah,
Right now.
as he should.
He needs to be up there preparing.
He's going to
Buy
buy a
this
new
guy.
mansion soon anyways with his new boss. So
I
it'll
know.
be
How about
fine.
this guy goes right from Ricky Fowler, a couple tough years or whatever, and then just, I mean, I don't even think Joe's a good guy. And goes straight to, I mean, well, you guys know way better than I do. If you were to pick a young guy's, I mean, obviously, Justin Thomas, but a young guy's bag, if you were to
Of all the
get
19-year-olds
canned,
in
you
the
get
world,
canned, and then, okay, what would be a great, but that's had to have been like a top 3 bag, maybe?
And he was like 20th in the world at the time, I believe.
Right,
And
at
now
20
he's
years
just-
old. Oh,
Now the President's Cup happens. Everyone in the world knows him. He's flying over to Japan to play.
it's crazy.
He's won twice already on the PGA Tour.
Oh, it's a joke with Joe on the bag.
Bogey free.
And what you
in
know what?
the whole tournament.
Yeah, no bogeys. And Joe gets to talk now too. I've noticed that. I watch a lot of Golf Channel up in China, and this guy actually listens to Joe and wants Joe's opinion. Makes me sick.
he's hanging on his
yeah,
shoulders at the they're best buddies already. I was like, he just slid into the It's like winning a truck in a raffle.
Joe thinks he's the man now too. Went for Taco Tuesday. I went out to eat with him yesterday. He wanted to go to Taco Tuesday. Then he picked up the tab.
He bought?
Wow.
If I would have known that, I would have come.
Well, you would have got $12 worth of tacos. You would have got 10 of them for $12.
That's incredible. Cobby, as always, my man. Love
Can't
sitting
wait for
down
the
with
thord, dog. Cannot
I'll be
wait.
back.
Appreciate
I'll
Well,
be
hold on, we
got
gotta.
Thank you.
We're actually filming this in front of a live studio audience.
Yes.
And,
Oh, yeah, we are.
And I'm not asking the question. We just got submitted. So
We get-
that's gonna do it for this
sounds
edition.
just rude. Like, chop it off.
Thanks, Cobby. Appreciate
All
it.
right.
All right. Well, I cannot wait for episode 3 with
There
the
he is.
beautiful Mike Commodore. I mean, is there anyone better than this man?
I had a couple other stories like written down. Like,
Oh,
gotta
yeah.
make sure he tells those. And we got into it. And by the time we were over, I was like, damn, there's more. There's
Russia
more. Believe
story
it or
took
not, the
an
Russian
hour.
story is all time. But there's so much shit in that. I mean, imagine, like for him, I get it. Like, didn't probably need the money, but they pay well over there. So I'm gonna go over there. I'm gonna play in Russia. Didn't even know where it was on the map.
Rubles.
All of a sudden, you got 10-hour flights every which way. But to end up in a Russian prison, especially after what's like, I made a joke about like the Brittany, like introduced that guy to Brittany Griner. She could use a little help right now. There's one place you don't want to be. It's in a Russian jail.
I'll be honest. I don't want to be in any jail.
Or just Russia, period. Seems like a
Russia.
pretty sketchy situation, but goddamn, the man is a beautiful, beautiful
He can
individual,
tell stories.
isn't he?
When he talks
Oh,
about his golf game, I just loved it. Trash.
everything.
Just trash.
Everything's so good. We will have him back. We got to get him in spurts, but that's like we're at the tip of the iceberg on the story.
He's one, too. You don't even have to have him on to talk about himself. We can just talk about other stuff.
Anything. He could just be a State of the Union with Kami. Like, give me your takes on everything. It'd be hot. And now he's in the podcast game too, which is, by the way, where he belongs.
Clearing the crease.
Clearing the crease. If you're a hockey person, I gotta imagine it's pretty good. It's got Kami on it, and he already said his second one. He got a little too tuned up.
I was there
Which
for
can
the
happen.
pre-podcast.
It happens to pros.
Yeah.
You know, even the best of the best occasionally
I
get a
was-
little too snapped up.
We were out watching football Sunday after the wedding, and I was like, what time is that podcast you got to do? He's like, 5. I'm like, you should probably go home.
God, I came up to him. He had the shirt down, like you said, chest flow is everywhere. And I came up and just gave him like a big, like behind, like a bear hug or whatever. I wrapped him. I was like, God damn, imagine this dude being pissed off at you, coming at you. He is a shit house of a human being.
But he's
Just solid.
but he's a teddy bear.
He would do anything.
All right. Well, thanks to Kami for coming on once again. Hope y'all enjoying that. Right now, I want to tell you about pinned golf because, please, we're out there playing. We're not stepping off yardages. We're going to use a rangefinder. And who wants to go spend $400 or more on a rangefinder?
Not me, bud.
All right, well, Pin Golf was started by a few recent college grads back in 2018 when they couldn't justify spending that $400. Knew it was necessary to take their game to the next level, but couldn't pull the trigger on something that expensive. That's when they came up with the Prism model. The Prism model is one of the sleekest, most accurate, and affordable rangefinders I have ever used. I've used it. It works beautifully. It actually looks really cool, too. 6 different colors, just in case you're wondering. It's got all the bells and whistles a serious golfer needs. Slope, built-in magnet, vibration, HD screen, and best of all, you can use a USB cord and recharge it.
That's vital.
How about a full one? Lasts 60 rounds.
Yeah, it's like the rock form of rangefinders.
Oh, my God. It's incredible. And as I mentioned, 6 different colors, so you can get whatever you want. They've extended their biggest sale of the year, so just for Subpar listeners, where you can get $150 off and get the Prism for only $179.99. So head to PinGolf.com. That's PINNED Golf.com. Use code SUBPAR to get yourself a brand new rangefinder today for only $179.99.
It's just money saving season around here right now. I used it this past weekend while I was playing. Got out there,
Probably
shot the
played
laser,
incredible.
fired some lasers. You know how it goes.
All right. Well, you can also, all that money you saved, you can go spend it on us with our expert gambling picks.
Of course, what
And make more money. You can buy
wouldn't
several
do-
rangefinders.
What else would you do with it?
But this past week,
I lost my
your
football bet
TCU
again, though. God damn it.
Did you?
Yeah, I had LSU over A&M. The shock of the weekend, by the way. A&M finally decides to show up. Played like what they should have been playing like all year.
I'll be totally
put
honest.
LSU to bed hard.
I'll be totally honest. I don't even know if mine hit, but I'm about to look for you right now.
Who'd you have?
I had West Virginia over Oklahoma State. So let me look in this Big
was
12
that?
area right here, and I will tell you that West Virginia won 24-19, and they were getting 5.5.
Chicken.
Winner. That's what I don't know if we've both gone with an L.
No,
this year.
I start off
This
hot.
football.
I've come back to earth a little bit. I'm getting back on track this week. Guaranteed. No, I shouldn't say guaranteed. Responsibly guaranteed.
Well, while we're on football, let's go. What do
You
you
want to
got?
do our picks?
Sure.
I'm going USC over Utah minus 2.
Oh my God,
Five.
we both like it.
If it was golf or some other shit, I'd be like, that's the problem. But with this, I feel like we're a bit aligned.
It's hard to beat a team
USC
twice.
It's hard to beat a team twice, but this Utah team is banged up. They barely skated by in Salt Lake, which they're a different animal. There's some suspect, by the way, calls in that game. And I'm not even a USC fan, but I was like, wow, if that was my team, I would be livid. Greased by. They're playing the best football of the year. Utah's a little bit dinged up, probably not playing as good, I would argue. I'm smashing USC minus 2.
It's pretty impressive.
For the playoffs, by the way. Got to win for the playoffs.
Yeah.
They got everything on the line.
We know Lincoln Riley's a hell of a coach, but to go out there first year, I know he got to bring Caleb Williams with him.
Have
Pretty
to.
damn impressive, though, that they're a win away from being in the college football playoffs.
The defense, I think you can light them up, but the offense is a joke. Caleb Williams, I'm pretty sure, just won himself the Heisman.
He is good.
He's the closest thing to Patrick Mahomes they got. So I'm heavy USC minus 2.5.
All right, well, the PGA Tour is also back. We got Tiger's event, the Hero World Challenge down in the Bahamas. 18 guys, that's all.
Yeah. Probably we won't be doing any dark
Can finish
horse
top
picks
20
this week. Yeah.
Well, Kevin Kisner's your only real dark horse. He's the only one outside of 50 to 1. Sorry, Kiz, I love you.
Okay. Ain't no hobby.
But John Rahm is the favorite. Victor Hovland, defending champion.
Yep.
And Tiger Woods is teeing it up.
Yeah. Back for the first time of 3 that we're going to see in December. You're going to get a little Tiger fix, give you a little sneak peek of what to expect next year.
You got the Hero, you've got the match where he's teaming up with Rory McIlroy, and then you got the PNC parent-child where I don't know if we're more excited to see Tiger tee it up again or Charlie Woods tee it up again.
I don't know what tees they got Charlie on, but I don't think Tiger's going to need to pull a driver out too often. I just saw his little swing, down there. They videoed at one of the junior tournaments. I mean, it looks like, dude, I'm not
like Tiger
shitting
and
you.
Rory.
This is like, I don't want to freak out over a 12, 13-year-old. That golf swing looks like Rory McIlroy's golf swing.
Tiger and Rory had a baby.
Yeah.
And he's Charlie Woods, and that's a good thing for him.
Going to be all right.
All right, well, let's get to some picks.
Yep.
It's going to be we're going to get 4 days of Tiger, which is great. I'm sure he's going to be laid back, relaxed. I hope he plays well. Not sure what to expect.
I don't even
really care.
I don't care at all. I just want to see him swing it. It's going to be rusty. Of course it's going to be rusty. I'd be shocked if he didn't play bad, but I don't give a shit. He's playing again, and just look forward to next year in some real tournaments.
All right, I'm going with a guy who I feel like when he finds a course he likes, he seems to always play well at it. You look at Mayakoba. He went win-win. I think he finished 11th this past year. And he obviously likes this golf course because he won this golf tournament. We're going Victor Hovland, 14 to 1.
Love that pick. That was one that jumped out at me too, especially at 14. There's only 18 dudes in the tournament. I feel like that's pretty good juice for Victor. I'm going to go with a guy that won the last time he was out. When he gets going, he really goes. Tony Finau plus 900. I know he took a little time off, was going to play RSM and said, nah, I just won. Don't blame him. Maybe he's taking a little time off with the fam, of which there are many. That's a lot of time to spend with everybody, but I'm going Tony Finau plus 900. Ride the hot hand.
Not the best odds in the world, but hey, why bet against him?
They're all pretty short. But
What's he won? 3 of his last 7
go,
events?
Yeah, exactly. He's starting to go, and there's only 17 other guys.
All right. Well, it's the holiday season. Make sure you go get you a pin golf rangefinder, pick up some Linksoul, 50% off, and some Dewars to wash it all down with.
And sign up for that event. Free everything on the way down there. You will not be disappointed.
All right, that's going to do it for us. Everyone have a great week. We'll talk to you on next week's Golf Subpar.